Akame got killed episode 4. Man, was this a crazy episode. It was absolutely insane. Some of the animation in this episode, let's just talk about the fight scenes before we get to anything else. Some of the animation in this, particularly in the sword fighting, was just some of the best animation I have seen since maybe the Gintama movie. It was just absolutely amazing. It was this fluid motion. It wasn't all this like, you know, you see them charging at each other and then you see the swords clashing and something and then they just blow off again and then they go in and repeat and stuff and talk about their emotions. No, this was some seriously good stuff. They just went in, they did the job, and how good is Akame? Akame is just an absolute beast. It was such a joy to watch today, and I gotta say, I really hope this continues to get better and better if this series just goes on like this, and I can't wait to see next week when we go more into the Imperial Arms thing. Now, as we talk about the Imperial Arms, last week we saw Mime's weapon, which is her gun, which draws power from her human emotion, and you know, the more stressed out she is, or the more she's, you know, trapped or in a pinch, as they say, the more powerful the weapon gets. And I was actually kind of surprised to hear that every single one of the characters had an Imperial Armour. Considering there's only like 42, I think there is, in existence. It was pretty crazy to see that, you know, these girls, or girls and guys, I suppose, have all got these weapons. We didn't actually talk about the boss's weapon, which I thought was interesting. Does she not need one? Or like, because I imagine she is OP as all hell. And I mean, she's also got the artificial arm, so maybe the artificial arm is the weapon, but that wouldn't really make sense. But you know, you never really know what's going to happen in manga, do you? But nevertheless, this was quite an interesting episode. We had the executioner guy, he finally bit the dust. Kind of made me sort of, well, I don't know, it was a bit of a testament to perhaps the team is going a bit overkill when they go out to search for these people. They're sending like these 7 people who are super OP, and then half the time, you know, Tatsumi ends up fighting them. And I reckon he almost could have won this battle, if I'm honest. I reckon if he had if he's, you know, had a bit of a stronger weapon, and if his agility was a little bit better, he could have won this. I mean, before Akame came in at her oh so badass way, he was actually fighting quite well and he was taking quite a bit of damage. Yes, he was, but he was psyching the hell out of the other guy. And you know, what's going on in your mind plays a hell of a lot in what's going on. Even when they can read your mind, if your mind is losing it, you can't concentrate on anything. And I really think that if he had just pushed it a little bit more, then he might have won. And I thought that, but then like you saw him on the ground afterwards, I'm like, what's going on here? Or was he just being super tough and then he just sort of gave up? He's like, alright, cool, this chick's got it. But nevertheless, this was such an absolutely awesome episode. Some of the scenes I thought were a little bit unnecessary when they're going through the cooking stuff, and I like the sword swinging at the beginning of the episode with my favourite character. He's just so funny and he's so good. And when Tatsumi was saying, I feel like I'm in danger right now, I just absolutely lost it. He's such a likeable character, and I really just can't wait. I want to see more of this dude's backstory. Now, more on backstory, I guess we have to talk about Akame's backstory. Now, Akame obviously has some sort of sister. We see it in the openings and we see it in everything else. And it was interesting how she just instantly killed her sister. I mean, obviously it's not her, and obviously she knew that. I'm starting to think more and more that her sister is dead, and I'm thinking that her sister died in an extremely brutal way. Because, you know, that's probably why she was able to kill her so easily, because, you know, she was damn sure that her sister was dead. You know, I don't know how she died, but I'm sure it was in a very overkill manner. And it was interesting to see more of her motivation and how she, you know, she's said repeatedly now that she really cares about everyone in Night Raid. I mean, yeah, they had that bit of fan service moment, like, oh yeah, I really care about you as well, but that's a given. And it was, you know, quite interesting to see why she's so attached to everyone there. I mean, I don't know how long they've been together and everything like that. Obviously, they're all formed by this boss person, but nevertheless, I think she's one of the most recent members of the group, and you know, she's still extremely close with them. And I want to know why a person like that, who has experienced so much loss and everything, and then they can just rely on someone all of a sudden. It just sort of seems a bit like, well, it doesn't seem like a plot at all. I just want to see more explanation into it because it's so interesting. And at the moment, this is just getting better and better. Overall, I reckon I'd give this episode, honestly, I'd give this episode a 10 out of 10. The animation was fragging amazing. The art left a bit to be desired sometimes, and I think they did waste a bit of time here and there. But you know what? I don't care. We had lots of story. We had foreshadowing for in the future, and I think Tatsumi's going to get an Imperial Arms weapon, but it doesn't really seem his style next episode. So I guess we might see a bit of a toss up with that, and he's obviously still dealing with a lot of things like that. So it was just so many things. It was addressing things that we've already seen. It's putting more things into the future. It's giving you some reminder that Tatsumi is still not over it, and over Sayo and his friend. And it was an overall fascinating, intriguing, and amazingly badass episode. And I gotta say, keep this up. This is amazing. Anyway, guys, until next time, have a good one.